Akabueze, you talked about leakages the other time, and of course, that's been an ongoing conversation over the years. But then I know that one of the ways in which these leakages come to the fore is through the Auditor General's report year after year. And we know that since 2013, several reports have been released by the Office of the Auditor General. But what is of concern is the one that's in the public space, in recent time. On the front page of the dailies, for instance, this morning, we have one that says about 801 federal agencies and 110 foreign missions have not been audited since 2017. And in the same Auditor General's report of this year, there is a report that says 11 of them have never been audited, down from 69 in the 2016 report. So one do not have audited reports. Is there a justification for them to have budgetary allocation when they have not retired what they spent the previous year?
Well, first of all, let's understand that when it comes to audit, we have internal audit, okay? There's an internal audit function, which is provided by the Office of the Accountant General, and you have internal auditors embedded in all the agencies. And then you have what is called the federal auditors, with staff of the Auditor General of the Federation, also embedded in agencies. And so on a daily basis, there's auditing going on. Nevertheless, that's not a reason for the full year external audits not to be done on a timely basis. But you see, the decision to get audits done on a timely basis is not one that everybody in the establishment has responsibility for. And so what we need to do is the solution is not to deny those agencies, budgets, because those agencies exist and they have functions to perform. They have public goods and services to deliver. So when you deny them budgets, it's not so much them. I mean, the one that comes to them is their personnel cost, budget. The rest of it is to be able to deliver public goods and services. What needs to happen is that the chief executives of those agencies and the boards or whoever is responsible for the failure to get the audits done on a timely basis, those are the people who need to be sanctioned. The solution is not to deny them budgets.
Well, while that is a given, Mr. Akabueze, one then wonders, how do we, get back all those monies? Because you have once said on this program that one way to get ourselves out of a financial mess is to spend our way out of it. There are more than 2 trillion naira locked in all of these agencies, well, a good number of these agencies that have not been fully remitted or not duly accounted for, many of them violating the financial regulations, many of them violating certain provisions of the Constitution in the spendings, and yet they continue to get these allocations. More than 2 trillion, according to the analysis from the Auditor General's report of 2017. How do we begin to, address this? Because if we do not find a way to block those leakages, just as you have mentioned, 2 trillion naira is already, quote unquote, floating around somewhere. So what do we need to do?
Well, I mean, it's a tough job, but we just need to keep, pressing. You observed earlier on that from 69 agencies that had ever been audited, the number is down to 11. Hopefully by this time next year, we'll be saying it's down to 0. And what has happened is the government is basically increasing the firepower in terms of oversight. The ICPC, for instance, is playing an increasingly greater role in tracking down these leakages. So it's not just left to the Office of the Auditor General. In the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning headquarters, we have the Presidential Initiative on Continuous Audit that is also going out and helping out. We're also from the Budget Office constituting teams that go out and track There's currently a joint team of the budget office, the office of the accountant, general, PICA, that and the office of the head of the service that is out there trying to track down any malpractices with respect to personnel costs. So it's an ongoing battle.
So what do you
But
rely
we're
on?
making progress.
Right. You mean you rely on the internal audit for your budget monitoring and evaluation because as it stands right now, we don't exactly have the federal audit that you mentioned. So is that what you rely on?
No. Remember I said there are federal auditors embedded in all the agencies. And those federal auditors review transactions as they occur. Okay, so, which is different from then, doing a holistic audit of the financial statements of those agencies. But there are staff of the Auditor General embedded in every agency, apart from the internal auditors from the Office of the Accountant General. And on a daily basis, as transactions occur, they're being audited. Remember, the government system is automated also. And so there are audit trails, designed into the system. There are systems of internal controls that are built into the system. And basically what the audit does at the end of the day is to certify that those controls have worked as they are designed to work, and that people haven't basically been able to breach them. And because at the end of the day, every internal control system, no matter how good it is, can be breached where there is collusion.
Basically, regardless of the fact that there hasn't been audit conducted in some of these MDAs since 2017, you're saying that you still have something you rely on in terms of budget monitoring and the rest.
Oh, yes. And I mean, we also have a budget monitoring and evaluation department. So we go out, but then we can only do a sample of projects. There are thousands and thousands of projects in every year's budget. And so it's only on a sampling basis that the monitoring and evaluation occurs. But when an agency becomes notorious for, some difficulties, or let me just say, irregularities in their project execution, then you can zero in for that agency and do a broader, evaluation.